Lake June Road. This is in the southeast Dallas area. I can tell you right now that this is the second vehicle that has been in pursuit. And right now, as you can tell, we've got HD Chopper 8 over this truck. Okay, we are understanding that this updated location right now, you can see this truck is going through some intersections right now. Eastbound Elam at Prairie Creek. That is the location we understand right now. We've got HD Chopper 8 over this truck. Rebecca, tell us what you know about this pursuit.
So this started actually in the South Central Patrol Division, according to some of my sources. This was what is called a tactical apprehension attempt, which to me, I believe then that it was the SWAT team or some sort of high-risk stop. So they were trying to take somebody in. They're now on St. Augustine, but they were passing St. Augustine, but they were initially trying to pull this person over. And remember, DPD only chases for violent felonies. There was at one point when the car before this that they were in was going the wrong direction. They initially did have patrol units chasing the vehicles, but when it got too dangerous was when they were going the wrong direction on the freeway. DPD's general orders prohibit that from happening. You cannot chase going the wrong direction. So now what I am told is they only have Air 1 up above this vehicle, and also we have, DPD has undercover covert units trying to follow this car. They will not chase with license sirens because at this point, because they felt that it was too dangerous when these people were going the wrong direction.
So right now, okay, again, updated location for you, eastbound Elam approaching Peachtree, pardon me. And the reason, by the way, we're bringing this to you live right now is because, as you can tell, this area is nearby residential area. There are businesses here. Look, school is letting out at this hour. So if you are anywhere near the southeast to Dallas area, please be aware of this. I am so glad to see that some of these cars are stopped and are slowing down and stopping as this truck is weaving in and out of this area.
And that's why you're not seeing the lights and sirens, because when they feel that it is too dangerous and you have patrol units, the suspects that they are chasing tend to speed up and go faster. So that's why right now they're going to follow this vehicle with only Air 1 and some covert units. But again, this actually started in the South Central Patrol Division, wound its way through Southeast, and they were trying to make some sort of tactical apprehension. So this must be a person that had some sort of violent felony warrant that they were trying to pull over. I'm texting with my sources right now. They haven't told me like who the person was that they were chasing, but clearly it became very dangerous, Sonia, because before we went on the air, you could see the other vehicle before they changed vehicles going the wrong direction at a high rate of speed and almost hitting people head on. You can see now that they've pulled over and stopped.
Okay, he's boxed in right now, it appears. This is, tell me one more time, Ryan, we're getting an updated location for you. Eastbound Elam Road at 635 Balch Springs. Okay, and you can see he's doing, wow, his best to get around this at this point.
And you can bet that there are going to be some DPD squad cars soon approaching. I mean, they do. He just hit those power lines. Yeah, okay, he just hit those power lines.
Yeah, this is now southbound 635 from Elam. And as Rebecca was alluding to, this is the second vehicle that this person, and we don't know anything about the person in this vehicle, right? This is the second vehicle that has been on the move. So this started about a half hour ago near I-45 in that southeast Dallas area. The driver was seen going the wrong way on CF Hahn Freeway. And again, at that time, this all started in a maroon pickup truck that may have been stolen. At some point, there was a switch. Yeah, so got out of that truck and then now into this one.
And so that is when you initially did see lights and sirens. Now remember, we're on a little bit of a delay here, so when we're talking to you, you might not be seeing the same thing that we're talking about. It's just a slight delay, but I will tell you that initially you did have DSO, Dallas County Sheriff, and also DPD chasing, and that was very dangerous when the person started going the wrong direction. So it is up to the supervisors on the scene to either keep keep chasing or call off the chase. So they decided to pull off all the marked units. They just thought it was too dangerous. Plus, it's against their general orders to chase going the wrong direction. And then we saw them get into this vehicle, and now they are only following with Air 1 and some covert units. You can bet that there are going to be some DPD units around somewhere that hopefully will eventually pull them over.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Again, we are just, as Rebecca said, we are in a slight delay. But right now, what we are seeing is that he is going, or this driver is going the wrong way on I-20.
Yes, and again, so dangerous. That's why you only see Air 1 and you do not see any marked units behind this vehicle. And I'm trying to determine or find out from some of my sources who this person is. Clearly, this is someone that was wanted from some sort of violent felony because it did start off as some sort of tactical apprehension in the South Central Patrol Division, and then has made its way now through Southeast, and he looks like he's exiting there off of Seagoville Road.
Yeah, exiting Seagoville Road. And as Rebecca mentioned, again, this has been going on for about at least a half hour that we can tell. We don't know if there's only one driver in this vehicle or if there are any passengers, and what the circumstances might have been to have led up to this pursuit. We do understand that law enforcement is on top of it, but for the reasons that Rebecca mentioned, they are not using lights and sirens in order to chase this driver.
And what's really scary is that when this driver was trying to get away, when he was boxed in, it looked like he hit some power lines. Okay, now he's going through some sort of field, and he's probably going to get stuck in this field.
Looks a bit confused or just uncertain about which way to go at this point.
Yeah, so it looks like they're going to bail out, perhaps. No, they're still going. Okay, they're still going now in the other direction, Sonia. And again, this is a very dangerous situation, is why you don't see the Dallas police marked units like you would typically see in a chase, because a supervisor had to make the decision not to continue to pursue the original vehicle before they got into this one that was going the wrong direction. That is very dangerous. There have been police officers injured that way and also civilians. So they are trying to avoid any catastrophic injury to any of the public. So now he's getting back on the road. And again, right now, we know that Air 1, Dallas Police's helicopter unit, is following, as well as some covert units. But you do not see the officers with lights and sirens. It's just simply too dangerous right now to chase, and they do not want to put anyone in the public at risk.
And you have to kind of go inside the mind of someone who is making these very quick moves, or try to. Obviously, the driver knew he or she was going the wrong way at a certain point, then went out into a field, and now again has come back onto the road. This is westbound I-20, going the right direction at this point, but still around other vehicles and on the shoulder, off and on of I-20. Again, westbound I-20 near Balch Springs is what we're looking at right now from HD Chopper 8.
Yeah, and I wish we could see what was happening when he hit those down power lines, but obviously we had to stay with the pursuit. But that was very dangerous for those drivers. That it looked like some of those power lines, when he hit them, actually fell on top of one of the vehicles. And so, again, a very dangerous situation. They probably, at this point, are going to try to get in front of this vehicle. This is what I've seen, and they're probably going to, at this point, also call in help from mutual aid from other people like DSO, DPS, and start trying to see if they can block off some of these exits when they're on the freeway, or bring out some stop sticks. Although I will say this, some people might say, why haven't they thrown out stop sticks? Yeah, they don't use stop sticks in Dallas. DPD doesn't even train with them anymore because they are very dangerous, but the DPS does and DSO does, but DPD does not. Now he's going back the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Very dangerous situation here for drivers who may encounter this truck.
Okay, it sounds like there are marked DPD vehicles following the driver of this truck, who is going the wrong way. Again, this is on I-20. Oh my gosh, weaving in and out of traffic. Okay, he's going east in the westbound lanes. This is I-20 at Seagoville Road. And again, you know, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Rebecca, this is almost rush hour, but this is really the time when a lot of people start getting on the roads, pick up their children from work and start moving from point A to point B, you know, the beginning of their day to the evening hours. And so not that there is any good time for something like this to happen, but to me, this is just an awful time of day to be on the road right now and potentially encounter someone like this.
And Sonia, apparently there were 2 people that got out of that other vehicle, so we do think that there are 2 people in this car. And again, this started in the South Central Patrol Division, is what I'm being told by sources, and then it became really dangerous when they got onto those, you know, obviously going in the wrong direction. So what you're going to see now is Air One over this and continuing to follow this person. When they do a tactical apprehension, it is a dangerous person that they believe that they are following. They do what they call felony stops, and apparently this person took off and wanted for some sort of very violent offense. And now he's going again into a field.
Kind of off-roading there, yeah.
And so Air One, again, will stay with this person and these drivers. I'm trying to get more information from some of my sources to see what it is that they are wanted for.
Okay, it looks like there are 2 passengers who at this point are staying in this fielded area but have bailed and are now running through the woods. It looks like 2 men, and police, we understand, are
in foot pursuit now.
Yeah, they're chasing them.
There's a woman that looked like a
Okay.
woman running the other. I don't know if she got out of the vehicle. I mean, obviously, because this is because you see DPD now in pursuit, and on a foot pursuit. You really can't see because they're in this wooded area.
Yeah,
this is very
area.
dangerous for the officers involved, because again, I was told that this started off as a tactical apprehension, which means that they were looking for someone that was wanted for some sort of dangerous or violent felony. And so very dangerous. You see more officers now coming out here to see if they can apprehend these 2 suspects.
Yeah, and what is the strategy, Rebecca, when they are approaching these suspects in an area like this? They don't really know what they're up against. It didn't look like the men were carrying anything that we saw when they bailed from the truck, but when they encounter these people and they're potentially violent criminals, what exactly is their strategy when they come up on them?
They still have to take all the precautions. There were officers that were shot at and shot actually in foot pursuit. So David Brown, I believe, was the police chief at the time when he changed the foot pursuit policy so that it would not be so dangerous for officers. So if the officer feels like they are putting themselves in danger, then they will back off as well. And hopefully they hope that Air One can pick them up somewhere, and then they can continue to pursue them. But there is a policy, just like there is a chase policy on pursuits when you're driving and you're following them in a vehicle. They also have a foot chase policy so as not to endanger any of the officers' lives. And you see looks like more police arriving there.
And we've zoomed out a little bit to try to give you a visual of where this is. This is just off of I-20, where that driver had been going eastbound and then westbound and circling off and on the feeder road, and then also in and out of various fields. It looked like he had gone through several residential neighborhoods, tons of businesses nearby as well. And so eventually, about 45 minutes later, ended up bailing. 2 men we saw jump out of this truck into this thick area, a wooded area, and they have been tailed by police at this time.
And it looks like they're setting up some sort of perimeter. They're going to have officers as best they can around this area to try to apprehend these 2 suspects. And so right now what we saw were 2 officers that got out of the vehicle and then started chasing them on foot. But again, if it gets too dangerous, even for the officers, there are some guidelines and some protocols and actually general orders that they have to follow so as not to put themselves in jeopardy.
Okay, because we can't quite see at this point what exactly is going on. Rebecca will continue to follow the developments through her sources, and we are glad to report at this point that it looks like those suspects have exited the main roads in our area, and they are no longer a danger to drivers who are out and about moving from point A to point B. We're going to have an update for you on this and a whole lot more coming up on WFAA News at 4. That starts in about 45 minutes. We'll see you then.